New details from our exclusive interview with Michael Jackson's father, Joe, about his son's upcoming run of 50 sold-out performances in London, about concerns for his health. We'll also talk exclusively to one of Michael's oldest friends and ask, was the King of Pop really ready for such a demanding tour schedule? Here's ABC's Chris Connolly.
What did you think of the comeback tour? Did you think it was a good idea for Michael to do?
The comeback tour was a good idea, but the wrong idea about it, there was more tours added on to it. Michael only agreed that what he told me, Michael told me this himself, that he only agreed to 10 shows. But then he added all these other shows. I was worried about his health because all the shows that I'm seeing, no artist can do those many shows, you know, back to back like that. And so I knew Michael couldn't do all those shows without some rest in between them.
But the tour's producers have said Michael was performing at a high level and would have had lots of rest during the London run.
Randy, was 50 shows too many for Michael to be expected to do?
He was going to average 2¼ shows a week. So no, the truth is, Chris, if that was too many, then one would have been too many.
He built up his stamina. There would have been no problems, I don't think, with him doing this tour. Nobody was pushing him into it. Nobody was overworking him. You know, all those reports are false.
And joining us now is Leonard Rowe. For 30 years, he was a friend of Michael Jackson. At the end of his life, he was also serving for a time as his financial advisor on the tour dates. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Kate.
So start by telling us, we just saw the head of AEG and also Michael's former manager saying he was perfectly ready for 50 shows. He was fit for that. What do you say?
That's totally untrue. Michael Jackson was not ready. He was not fit. If you can call weighing about 110 to 115 pounds, fit, 5'10",
wow.
No. But besides that, Michael Jackson told me himself when he hired me that he never wanted to do 50 shows. He only agreed to do 10.
Well, let's talk about that. AEG sent us a statement overnight, and Randy Phillips says in that statement, our original agreement with Michael Jackson called for 31 shows. Michael was willing to increase the number of performances to 50. So he says it was Michael's decision, and they have said they think it was about the money.
That's not what Michael told me. Michael told me he agreed to do 10. His first order of the day to me was to go over and rearrange the shows so that it would be something that he could possibly do. I attempted to do that. I spoke to Randy Phillips that following Monday morning on the phone, and he told me to shove off. He didn't want to talk about it.
He says he does not remember having any conversation with you.
Well, naturally, he would say that.
He looked pretty sharp at his last rehearsal, Michael Jackson, on that tape that we've all seen now.
I disagree.
You disagree?
I disagree, and I can tell you why. Every move that you see Michael Jackson making on that rehearsal tape is a move that I could do. Michael Jackson do strenuous moves when he's Michael Jackson.
So you don't see the Michael that you know.
don't see the spinning. You don't see the heavy dancing, the tremendous moves that Michael Jackson is known to make. The moves that they show is naturally his best moves. And if you look at it very carefully, you'll see that there are moves that anybody could do.
We've been talking this morning about the idea that the family, and I know you were involved in this, wanted to intervene and perhaps get him into rehab as late as a week before his death. Why didn't that happen? Why didn't that intervention ever take place?
Well, I personally placed a call to his sister, Rebe. I spoke to his father, and I spoke to his brother, Randy, who I have a lot of admiration for. He had been trying before me to get Michael some help. We was trying to bring everyone together. We had planned to bring everyone together as soon as possible so we could have everyone on board and everyone going in the same direction. But it was a little too late.
You just couldn't get it together?
We couldn't get it together. But I like to say this, I had approached a friend of Randy Phillips, who's an attorney in L.A., a couple of months before then. And I told him that Michael would not make it to London unless we intervene and get him some help.
Because of the drug use?
Because of what I felt was an addiction by Michael that he had. And I wanted to get him some help because I knew not only that he wouldn't be able to perform in London, but I never thought he would even make it to London. And I passed that word on. And when I passed it on, what really angers me is they told me to shove off.
Well, clarify this for us. AEG says that Michael Jackson dismissed you in May, and they provided us with a letter that looks to be signed by Michael Jackson, and in that letter it says, "I have decided to streamline my business operations at this time. Accordingly, this is to inform you that you do not represent me, and I do not wish to have any oral or written communications with you regarding the handling of my business and or personal matters." So it looks from that letter like Michael wasn't taking your advice.
Let me say this to you. I never received a letter from Michael saying that. I met with Michael 3 weeks before he died with Randy Phillips over to the Beverly Hills Hotel. But let me say this. Randy Phillips and AEG was controlling Michael with their finances at the end. Michael Jackson was not able to hire his own people. He was not able to do what Michael Jackson wanted to do, because everyone knows that Michael Jackson at the end was in a financial strain. So they was demanding things of Michael that he did not want to do. Like Michael told me personally, he would never hire Frank DeLeo and John Branca back into his life. He would never bring them back into his life. But AEG saw fit to bring them back into his life the week before he passed. They was making moves like that. And if Michael Jackson wouldn't go along with those moves, I feel that they was threatening to oust everything with him. They was taking care of Michael Jackson financially. And they was forcing him to do things. And if Michael Jackson's best interest had been in their heart, and they would have sought rehab help for Michael, like I suggested, I could venture to say Michael would still be here with us now.